If we are thankful, we are thankful to those who are good to us, and we are thankful to even the challenges that we face through life and sometimes through others. There are bad actors that are part of this process of life. We don't focus too much on them, but on overcoming whatever challenge faces us. Good morning, special good morning to everybody locked on, the 91.9 family. Good morning to all those who join us consistently. The social media definitely heating back up as well. We are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and of course on the airwaves. Thank you for spending this part of your morning with me. Thank you for us spending it together. I catching a little kicks this morning because a couple days ago, the news was shared that President of the United States, Mr. Donald Trump, made some special maneuvers just in case for his security. Boarded Air Force One, then a catering truck pulled up, and apparently he went into the catering truck, and the catering truck, secretly carried him to our next plane, and he went on that plane. So if something was, if an attack was to take place on the initial plane, he would have been safe somewhere else. But everybody on Air Force One, the primary plane that he was supposed to be on, well, you know how it goes. Tough luck for them. And it just had me laughing. Trinbagonians, we take serious things with a bit of humor. Made me think of some of our old age, our adages, our sayings in Trinidad and Tobago, where you must be careful with the company you keep, where adults would warn you, hey, don't line with them people, don't be out on the corner with certain people because they bring trouble to you. And I think definitely some of the people around would be calculating the challenge or the difficulty that can come to you by this particular individual's presence, keeping his company. And then I thought even a little deeper about it, because all of us are humans as well, right? And the question was being asked on international news, the BBC to be specific, is it really a credible threat that, obviously they would paint the picture of Iran being maybe one of the main states to want to unalive, and you're not supposed to say kill on the internet, Mr. Trump. And you think about it, and when you think about the fact that equality and fairness, if someone kills you, unalives you or your leader, then why is it not within contemplation reciprocity? Why is it not that the same can't happen to you? I would think that all men are supposed to be equal. I would think that all human life has equal value. I would think so, or I would advance that truth so that it is established as reality, because some truths because it is true to the essence of my understanding of justice and to the core of my being as a human being. Yes, I am a human being, right? Thank God for emancipation. Thank God for the assertion and the efforts of all those who have fought to establish that. An eye for an eye. You are not more special or worth more than me. And we really need to ponder carefully on that. We really need to think about it and tell ourselves that we are worth, life is worth the same as another life. We need to understand that concept. We need to dismiss in our minds. I know we will tell ourselves, yeah, we know that. But somewhere within our thinking, because of how manifestly unjust, because of how unjust the societies that we live in are, it wears down the concept, and we don't actually believe it. We know it, but we don't believe it. We of ourselves sometimes see others as worth more than ourselves. We attribute greater value to individuals based on their color, class. Obviously, within classes is material acquisitions. We attribute greater value to those human beings than to others who may not possess things or may not look a certain way. Check yourself. You may know, but in your mind, because of constant conditioning, and when you believe that you are equal and that you deserve freedom and respect, then you act in a certain way. You are strong and rooted in those beliefs, and those beliefs allow you to stand against others when they take advantage of you or attempt to. And in my contemplation, I don't know how you all see things, but that's what I see taking place in certainly that major conflict. And of course, in other places around the world. And in international news, I see Mr. Arachi, who is the foreign minister for Iran, saying the US risks making bigger miscalculation over Hormuz. Men have the ability to stand for themselves in the face of maybe even superior power, if you want to call it power. Men, there are people, there are human beings who will show that tenacity, who will defend themselves and go down to the end with you. And you have to admire that. Always the word that comes to mind is the tenacity, right? Or the strength, the resolve, the pride, good pride. Nah. As mother say to us, right? I will die with my dignity. And when singing Sandra says she could die with she dignity, believe your bottom dollar. Believe your last dollar. Believe she meant it. That is the type of a spirit. Of course, it have those who flaky and here and there. And, oh gosh, don't hit me. And, oh, look, what you want? Sorry. Of course it have that. That is unbecoming of not just manliness, because it is a manliness, is a human strength that is necessary even with a woman. And I have to say, of course, we have a legacy within the Caribbean of powerful women who fought, sometimes literally fought. Heroes honored, Jamaica. I don't know why we have not unlocked that resilience and that strength in our history and honored the men and women of Trinidad and Tobago. We still have a square. We take down Columbus and they don't know what to put up yet. But right here we have men and women, indigenous, Afro, and others who fought against the worst type of advantage. And distinguished themselves, risked it all. Some of them were killed during the process, but were instrumental in our liberation. And I don't know why we don't seek to honor that history and to repeat it to our children so that they can find strength as well. I don't know, maybe we don't want to create a society that honors strength. Maybe we want a weak society that accepts whatever is done from man to man. And you see it sometimes on every level. You see it on every level. You see it in so many organizations as well. Somebody bullying their way in a PAN organization, for example. You rewarded if you listen, not if you enjoy what is right, but if you go with the flow, wrong or right. And so many people choose to go with the flow. So many people choose to be mum. So many adults watch their children in communities doing nonsense. And it is almost as though out of fear, they don't correct. They don't stop them. I talk to some old school sometimes who they're passing on. They're leaving this earth because of age and the natural transition that takes place. And they tell me about the days when it had real men. And they would let youth men know, hey, forget that, that nonsense you're doing. And while you might have categorized them as bad Johns, there's a certain level of goodness in the way that they operated. Not just wickedness, advantage. So you see that constant struggle being played out throughout the world. And of course, different cultures, people who have learned the positive aspects of their history and taught their children en masse, taught their populations pride and strength, are able to stand up to any challenge. They're able to have a president who claims he's the most powerful thing in ever and he will destroy the whole of the civilization. All kind of talk. Have him going in a food van, a catering van, and going to our next airplane and all kind of maneuvers, because we're human. Because all of us, every single one of us, we're fragile, we are human, and we need to embrace our fragility with humility. Of course, across the world, other challenges taking place. Israeli settlers laying siege to Palestinian homes in the West Bank, and some think about leaving, some may have left already, Palestinians, but some remain. Some remain and go through, when I tell you, torture. Looking at their home and it burnt, they trap you inside, they spray all kind of graffiti, they shoot it up, all kind of stuff to chase you from your home to take it. Whew. What a world we live in. We take the break for some ads, and then we'll be right back. Stay locked on.
The presence of oxygen is absolutely the absence of disease. Most chronic diseases that plague us are not happening to us, but is happening within us. We're literally eating ourselves to death, which means we're not living longer, we're dying longer. Join fitness expert Aloy Johnson, the founder of the healthiest corner on earth, located at number 92 East Drive, Chamfleur, every Wednesday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. live on The Street 919 FM, where he shows you that healing the body's temple is easier than anyone would have led you to believe.
TechFlex TT Limited, the #1 computer store in Trinidad and Tobago, has all your tech needs. We have the latest computers, powerful MacBooks, and affordable Chromebooks for school and work, providing new and refurbished options to suit everyone's budget. Also, we carry a variety of printer options and ink solutions for your home and office needs. Need repairs done? Our experienced technicians can solve your tech problems. Visit us now at any of our 2 locations, Wilson Road, Scarborough, next to Royal Castle, or Penco Street, Montrose, Chagonas. Call 235-4919 for more info. TechFlex TT Limited. Affordable tech. Exceptional service.
Peace of God be multiplied unto you in the precious name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. This is Redemption Hour, a gospel program where God will reveal His mind to you on how to live a fulfilled life and to please Him in all areas. Join Pastor Femi Afolabi, the National Overseer of Deeper Christian Life Ministry, Trinidad and Tobago, and other seasoned ministers for a time of divine encounter as they minister and pray for you every Saturday by 9 o'clock in the morning of this station, Street FM 91.9. Our church is Deeper Life Bible Church, #1 Cochrane Street, opposite Tunapuna Police Station, Tunapuna. The times of our services are as follows: Sunday worship service, 9 a.m., Monday Bible study, 6 p.m., Thursday revival hour, 6 p.m. The redemption hour is a life-changing moment you cannot afford to miss. For special prayer or counseling, contact Pastor Femi Afolabi on 778-9933. God bless you as you listen to this program. Jesus is Lord.
When every hand start waving, it's KFC a craving. Extra crispy or spicy, it blazing. So when it comes to flavor, you know we can't lose. It's popcorn chicken in 3 kinds of sauce. So you dip on, you dip on, you dip on, you dip. KFC popcorn chicken, make you dance while you dip. Yes, you dip on, you dip on, you dip on, you dip. Somebody bring the KFC quick, I'm telling you. Get your hands on KFC's extra crispy or spicy popcorn chicken, starting at just $35. Or grab the winning combination, 3 pieces of chicken and 4 tenders for $79.95. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday
from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning on the Street 919 FM.
Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
Hi there, I'm Lester Suglal, inviting you to join me on the first, second, and third Saturday, 8:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. for the program Slow Gospel Music, and on the fourth and fifth Saturday from 8:30 p.m. for an extended version of Slow Gospel Music on Street 91.9 FM.
Transform your events into unforgettable experiences. Launch from Kings Wharf, San Fernando, the perfect starting point for an epic experience of luxury, music, and celebration on the open water. By booking our vessel, your event will include a house DJ, state-of-the-art sound system, fully stocked bar, dedicated cleaning crew, top-notch security. This isn't just a venue, it's a floating masterpiece designed to make your event the talk of the town. Imagine your guests dancing under the stars, drinks in hand, with breathtaking views of the coastline as your backdrop. From birthdays to corporate events to exclusive parties, the Embassy Yacht offers promoters a unique platform to create unforgettable memories and boost your brand's reputation. Call or WhatsApp 399-5959 or email embassycruises@gmail.com.
The Gap Man Limited specializes in products that cater to all your health needs. The Male Enhancement Package targets the areas of the body that contribute to erectile dysfunction. The Male Enhancement costs $1,400. The Gap pills are priced at 250 pills for $500 and 500 pills for just $900. For the best in eye care, get the super combination of a Super Bright and the Body Healer. To improve the heart's function and circulation, get the Gap pills and Formula C. To get a total body cleanse daily, use the Gap Body Healer and Big C, all for a super low price of $1,300. To order your products from the Gap Man Limited, call 628-4531 for products that cater to all your health needs.
For more info, contact 476-7268.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
And we are back. Think you've tasted every chicken sandwich? Think again. Only KFC brings together our crispy chicken, signature crispy chicken, smoky sauce, and golden crunchy onion rings in one unforgettable bite. The all-new onion ring sandwich isn't just another sandwich, it's a whole new obsession. Get yours today for just $34.95 or make it a combo for only $49.95. Order now on the KFC app, kfc.tt, WhatsApp, or visit your nearest KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good. Good and natural ginger tea. Good and natural ginger tea in its single-size packet is excellent for flavoring your cooking, salads, and desserts. But what was news to me is when my granny say, a hot cup of good and natural ginger tea helps with nasal congestion and colds, stomach problems, migraine headaches, and it's really good for arthritis in the body. Made from freshly crushed ginger root to get that stronger ginger taste and aroma so soothing. Good and natural ginger tea. Available with or without sugar. So all you need is boiling water to get a cup going. As the old people say, don't take flambeau to see in the night what you could see clearly in the day. Good and natural ginger tea. Good advice to start your day right. Split peas powder. Transform your soups and stews with the rich flavor of Lion Brand Split Peas powder. Packaged in a handy, easy-to-use pouch, it's never been simpler to add depth and nutrition to your meals. Whether it's a cozy family dinner or a small line with close friends, Lion Brand Split Peas powder helps you create delicious dishes that bring people together. Elevate your cooking and share the goodness with those you love. Lion Brand, the power behind our great taste traditions. So we had back to the international news and just the headlines, because there's a commonality in most of what transpires in the world. And if we understand life and by such an understanding we understand human beings, we would see a certain level of repetition in the actions of human beings. Those who are yet to understand life properly act in a manner of, aggression without humility. They walk on the earth, without care, thinking they could hurt others, advantage others, take what they want. And then, of course, there is that continual theme in life where other humans will defend themselves. They will stand up to the aggressor, even if they seem to be more powerful. So a number of conflicts across the world continue, and they affect us all, of course. Strait of Hormuz remains central to US-Iran conflict as MOU set to expire. Iran will act more aggressively in the next round of war, officials say. German shipping giant says Hormuz closure cost it $600 million. So the economic cost to the rest of the world as well keeps adding up. Of course, in Colombia, they continue to grapple with the aftermath of that tremendous earthquake there. Even in Venezuela, they're still trying to pick up the pieces, so to speak. And when I look at the map of the last 10 earthquakes, and a number of them have happened this year, majority, I think there are more than 10 over major earthquakes, not small tremors. It is somewhat concerning, and it would do every society well to prepare, maybe not for an earthquake alone, but in general for any disaster that may come our way. We come back to the local news. Weather drives chicken shortage. Well, Trinbagonians might think that is a disaster for us in our contemplation of life. We're so happy. A shortage of chicken might be what we consider a tremendous a tremendous disaster. You know, we love our chicken. Weather drives chicken shortage. Hot sun and heavy rains have left Trinidad and Tobago consumers facing a chicken shortage. Good thing sun and rain does help plants to grow so we could eat an alternative. I say that, and I like my meat as well, but you know, if the prices increase and you can't afford it, then you have to maneuver as best as possible. I would say probably this is the first time I've come across this issue in Trinidad where hot sun and rain cause an issue with chickens, but maybe I have not paid attention to it. The Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries said yesterday the shortage was being influenced by a combination of factors rather than by a fundamental shortage of production capacity. Local weather conditions have also placed significant pressure on poultry production. The exceptionally hot conditions being experienced in Trinidad and Tobago have required farmers to implement additional heat management measures and in some cases reduce the number of birds placed on farms. Okay. The ministry said it was closely monitoring the poultry sector and engaging producers and other stakeholders amid concerns about the availability of chicken at retail outlets. It said a temporary reduction in placement of chickens on farms was a prudent measure to protect bird welfare, maintain healthy growth, and minimize heat-related losses. It also warned that farmers operating at normal capacity could face increased mortality and reduced production. As weather conditions improve, placement levels are expected to return to normal, it noted. So hopefully it's just a temporary issue that can be ameliorated quickly. Based on current hatchery projections provided to the ministry, an increase in chick availability is expected over the next 2 weeks. These additional chicks will subsequently move through the normal production cycle, with poultry supplies expected to progressively increase and return to full levels approximately 3 weeks thereafter. So it's a short-term issue, nothing to panic too much about. You could buy some Lion brand split peas powder and make some delicious vegetable soup. Or I don't think there's any issue with the other meats that we enjoy in Trinidad. You might have to just shift a little bit if you could afford it. I always encourage people to try to eat healthy, which includes the local chicken and even meat if you can. I hope it won't see us move dramatically towards the frozen imported chicken too much. Although I know Trinbagonians are aware and try to, as best as possible, avoid some of that chicken. We go to the price increase part, and I hope if price increases, it decreases after the couple weeks when there's a stabilization of production. The owner of a San Juan-based depot, who preferred not to be identified, said the situation had not changed since June 27th, when the Express last contacted him about the poultry problem for customers. Nothing has changed since June. The price increases remain. The chickens are still small, and now our quotas have been cut. All right, concerning. we are getting 50% less than before, and the price has increased by 15%, he said. Since the start of the year, chicken prices have moved from about $6 per pound, to more than $9 per pound. Concerning. But in every challenge is also an opportunity, and for the people who are involved in that industry or who are looking at the industry, you can also get involved, right? The cultivation of livestock in general is one that always remains essential. Food is an essential, and our consumption is high and consistent as well. So it may be somewhere where if a young person is looking for an opportunity, poultry, eggs, livestock may be a direction that you can go into. May go on into the other news. And this one was in the press yesterday. Cops kill each man, right? A man being sought by police in connection with the July 28 murder of PC Romel Douglas was shot and killed during an exchange of gunfire with officers at his girlfriend's home in Matura on Tuesday night. Hassan H. Johnson, 18, was killed at a 2-bedroom concrete house in Matura. His death brings to 21 the number of people killed by police in Trinidad and Tobago this year. And we have to be concerned, right? 21 is too much. 21 is a concern. And I've constantly advocated for better exercise of police maneuvers and actions that reduce the conflicts that reduce the situations that cause death to the people they are supposed to be trying to arrest. And I say supposed to be trying to arrest because maybe it is not the case that they are trying to arrest. And when I saw this police officer losing his life, condolences to his family, of course, I immediately thought about the aftermath of such incidents, because often when police officers are killed, the response is in a certain direction by the TTPS. And I understand the emotional aspect of all issues. When we all lose loved ones, the way we may think and want to respond, but it remains a concern that proper procedure is not being followed. And it is not just that we are dissuading justice, so to speak, but we have seen in circumstances in the past, and we don't want to see in circumstances in the future, where the wrong people lose their life as a consequence. And again, that is why there are laws and rules. That is why the duty of the police is to arrest. And that's why the duty of the judiciary is to try and acquit or convict. Because it could be wrong, you know. We watch on, and okay, the young man, he here outside, he have on a chain as the picture they choose to put. All right, they supposedly calling him H-man, but are we sure? Are we satisfied that this process is fair, is right? Is it really correct that this young man would have shot behind the police who came to arrest him, and therefore the use of force has resulted in his death? Is that just and fair? Is this the way that we are going to continue to see incidents like this play off? Is this the standard? Is it the standard? I remain dissatisfied, and I have an understanding of everyone. You know, I understand all sides. Good morning, brother. Welcome.
Brother Fuad.
Yeah, man.
How you going?
Morning. I'm all right. Not too bad.
Hi. Good morning to you. I just want to make a brief contribution. I completely agree with two things you touch on. The first suggestion you was given about persons going into agriculture. Recently it's had a main person in agriculture when the conversation about Nestle and the cows was going on, and he was saying that the farmers need to know what's the long-term plan, because agriculture on a whole is not something you could just do now for now. It's a lot of planning that goes into it, and investment, time and resources. So, and I mean, as a country that had economic ups, and we didn't really manage it the way we should have, and just as a country in general, being able to feed yourself and the nation, that's something that we need to have in place, no questions about it. So that's one point. And what you're now touching on with the conversation of justice, I totally agree with everything you're saying. We need to have the all category or all stages of justice operating as it should. Ideally, in my humble opinion, the best form is preventative. So, try to neutralize it, to just have most of the resources implemented, whether it's continuous patrols, observations. I would say, like, getting to know persons in the community. An idea come to my mind real brief. When we are born as children, right, we come into the country. Most of us, we don't really do home births anymore. You go to the hospital, you're born, so the Ministry of Health gets to know you get a birth certificate. You're in the system one time, right? At maybe a certain stage of life, you would go to preschool, primary school, so then the Ministry of Education would have a profile of you, and then at some point in time, you reach the age of working, so the Ministry of Labor would get to know you, have a profile of you. So this information should be shared to the TTPS. So it's not just that the police service running around here and there trying to do everything on their own. We need even the Ministry of Social and Community Development to reach out to communities, go into personally and communicate, find out what some issues people might be dealing with. But to summarize, you have profiles. So, for example, this family, this person working here, this child or children going to school here, etc. So we have an understanding of these people in this community, making the work a little bit easier. So I won't be too lengthy. I agree with everything you're saying. And, one of the things I admire is that you do neglect any facet or possibility, because your mind is towards justice and equality. And kindly keep up the good work, man.
Yeah, man. Blessings to you as well. Have a good day. I'm thankful that the situation, because I'm reading through the article, a 19-year-old man and Johnson's girlfriend were also inside of the house at the time. They, however, were not injured. That even for me is a positive, because we have witnessed situations where other individuals are also killed, apart from the primary suspect who the police are trying to arrest. Our hope is arrest. I don't want to lean in another direction that is absolutely not the legal process. I don't know. Trinidad boy, 18 years old. For me, what would be interesting to know is the circumstances involved in the entire issue. And that is my interest and my curiosity in reaching an understanding so you can fix the underlying problem. Why an 18-year-old, allegedly, another individual who was killed in the incident, another young person, and whoever else, because I think it was 3 people picked up in the video, would kill a police officer. What is the underlying motive behind it? Right? That is essential. Because what is really going on? What is going on? And many of us in our society, many of us living in our communities, have an idea of what is going on with the police sometimes, and others, and civilians. I don't want to hurt my head too much or all I head too much this morning. Good morning, Malcolm. Welcome. All right, I think there's just a little problem with that call coming in. You could try again in a little bit. Yeah, so let us try to move to a better place at some point, because we see the recurring decimal. We see this situation. I have seen this situation before. And I know most of Trinidad and Tobago has seen this situation before. All right. The other man and Johnson's girlfriend were detained. Johnson was wanted in connection with the July 28th murder of Douglas, who was assigned to the Four Roads police station. I ain't even ask, because I'm sure if I ask a question, when you live in a community, you ask some other officers, you get an idea as to what is what. And I don't want to cast any aspersions on anybody. It's most times it's not a robbery, and they mistakenly try to rob a police officer. It's not that. So you really sometimes wonder what is going on. What is going on? Just to move on to some other news. Central Cops I-5 post locations. So Central Division yesterday said they would like to see Joint Army and Police posts established in 5 locations. 5 out of 30 to the division. All right, yeah, I think that is possible. But of course, they would carefully think about the necessity and allocate to suit. 3 guns missing from Port of Spain police station. Now, I don't make the news. It's a coincidence that this in the news the same time while I just discussing the other issue. When we ask, and I know there are good, really, really good officers. Good morning to the good police officers across Trinidad and Tobago who try their best to discharge their duty and keep Trinidad and Tobago safe. But there are other elements as well. Months after a police officer was killed and 123 firearms, that's the last count now, 123 firearms, and more than 4,000 rounds of ammunition was stolen from San Fernando Municipal Police Station. 3 guns belonging to the Port of Spain City Police have been reported missing. And that is a trend. Police said the 3 weapons were handed over to officers at the Central Police Station, Port of Spain, on Monday evening for safekeeping. However, when the city police officers returned to the station around 5 a.m. yesterday to retrieve the firearms, 3 of the weapons could not be located. The Express contacted a senior officer of the Port of Spain division yesterday who confirmed that the firearms remain unaccounted for. You see, a laugh coming to my face. I want to hope to just misplace it and they find it back. What really going on? And Trinbagonians just laugh about serious things, We play with fire. 123 firearms from the San Fernando. That was a big story. Police station. I think some were recovered, but not even half. And of course, that has to concern us. And time has passed and other issues are now to the fore of our attention. And that's that. But now, again, somebody decide, I know the rat and them that's eat the cocaine, I know the rat and them that's eat the marijuana. But you had to watch out for rat, because they are gone now. Good morning, Mr. West.
Morning, Mr. Ford.
Morning. If you see a rat, careful how you're chasing it out your yard, he might have a run.
Well, all that. I heard, in fact, since yesterday I've been hearing about this, the 3 firearms that were missing from the Central Police Station. And I, want to know if the guns, or these guns that they say were missing, if they issue themselves. And you have a police station, you have handing over and take a procedure with respect to the issuing of firearms, the store. When persons bring firearms, there must be somebody who's receiving the firearms and storing the firearms, probably in a strong room or wherever it is. And that person is accountable. When you issue, you have the name, you have the firearm, the number of the firearm and all these things, time and all these things. You have those things. So I don't think, and if in fact you have people, because you know who brought it in, the name of the person, the name of the sentry or the person who is in charge in the property room or wherever it is, and I don't think that is high science. It's easy to identify, and if the person didn't, who was in the strong room and who received and who issued the firearm without documentation, then he has some problems. Mm-hmm. So I really ain't going too far with that. It all has to do with
yeah. But in general, it speaks towards the fact that maybe more accountability and better procedures need to be put in place, or discipline within the service, because that's not too acceptable.
No, that can't be.
That can't be.
That can't be in 2026. That can't be. it all speaks to, as you said, discipline, and it also calls to professionalism.
Yeah.
Right? Do we have a modern professional police service? You can't tell me. And the question of accountability, the question of supervision.
Yeah.
Who is in charge?
There's only so much we could blame them rat and them boy.
No, but they have to get the act together. They have to get the act together. The police service is at a level where they have to get the act together. You have people like superintendents. Do they go and check the arms? Do they check the books? Right, those diaries and all these things. Do they check these things to see that everything is in order? Do they check it? How often they check the inventory? I don't know. Let me leave this alone.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, because every day you hear things that speaks to a police service that is lacking in so many ways. And it is an urgent need. I want to use a word, repair. That may not be the appropriate term, but that's the word I use. It is wanting in terms of, improving the performance of the service as a whole. And they have to do that urgently. One thing I want to ask, yesterday I heard something with respect to this Calypso. That oil, gas, dealing with the gas in Trinidad. I think I heard it from Ramdi, the chairman of the NGC.
Calypso field.
But and then he was saying that that was, the future of, it's significant, and the future of gas and oil or the energy of Trinidad and Tobago rests there. But I didn't get any more detail. He said it was there, that was signed up since 2015, I think February 2015, I think the now Prime Minister had signed that with Venezuela. That has to do with unitization of the gas. Something to that. No, that's a different thing. But I think the Calypso is in our waters, but it's deep water. But I think when ministers or government is making those sort of, giving such information.
Yeah, those announcements.
They should go a little further to let people know, because you open it most times they open the people to mischief. People say all kind of thing and you not clear it up, and people, how long? Yes, it is since 2015. Tell people, well, look, yes, you have pipes laid there already, and the last government did not take the opportunity to develop it. What you want to do, what you propose to. Let people know now. Let people know what is taking place. Go a little further than that.
Although no matter what you say, people will mischievous. People will be up to mischief.
Yeah,
they're not even twisting what you say. Sometimes they just lie. They just publish untruths about the incident or the situation.
And they act in concert, because some section of the media, I don't know, like they commit themselves to mischief. And you see it sometimes. I watch the television sometimes at some stations and whatnot, not all. And even the facial expressions, the body language, tell you what side they're on, and all that kind of thing, probably highly unprofessional. And it tells you where this goes. So it's a team, people locked in there. And they take the opportunity to concoct, to create mischief. So the government has to be very clear in terms of how they communicate the information and what let people know is going on, because some clown come and say that we had it in the pipeline and all that kind of nonsense. What you had in pipeline, right? So they have to be a little more exact, and give a little more detail in terms of what is taking place.
Yeah.
I don't want to take too much of your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. West. We would like to see the gas and the oil flowing through the pipeline. We don't want to just hear that you had it in the pipeline coming along. because Trinbagonians have been tightening, holding strain, many of us for quite some time. And we could eat bread, we could eat butter, we could eat things, but we can't just eat talk and promises. And it's been a challenging 10 years, and we've come into a new administration, and the patience of our people sometimes is not at its highest, right? So we understand that reality, and we are happy to see some things advancing in a positive direction, and we look forward to those things being realized and the effect to be felt by the wider population. That is what people are looking forward to. Above all else within our society, I recognize that is what Trinbagonians, and I think it would have been expressed quite profoundly in our last electoral period, where people were tired of the difficulty and the hardship, and not a foreseeable exit from that with the last administration. The murder of LGBTQIA activist Kwesi Dion Gill has triggered calls for justice from the national community. Gill's popularity as an activist and community member was evident following the discovery of his body on the Lady Young on Sunday, hours after the Bethlehem resident failed to turn up at an event and was reported missing. I don't know if the specific circumstances or the motive has been established. Unfortunately, in Trinidad and Tobago, we're still coping with a certain level of violent crime, including murder. So we express our condolences to all of the people who lose their life, and we ask those responsible within the security services to do their best to solve all of these issues, all of these cases, right? Mr. Gill and numerous others. All right. Of course, the community that he belonged to are trying to agitate for as much attention as possible to be placed on that case. We don't know if it is connected to specifically his orientation. Right? So that's in the news as well. Well, I love to report bad news supposedly about the police. Look, I defend the police a little bit. Cop robbed of handcuffs after going to party. It's just the man leave he handcuffs in the car and they steal his car. And is his handcuffs, is the perfume, is the I think the wallet too. You leave your wallet in the car, boy. All stolen. I know what kind of... that's not that bad, but I guess as well, you know how the news is. The headlines is to catch you so that you read it, or the story becomes sensational or palatable so that you might go to it. But it's not a big deal, right? No major rat incident causing trouble in Trinidad. Just the thief demand car, saying just and unfortunately, again, there's that issue of car thefts in Trinidad and Tobago that is of concern as well. A couple robbed on the foreshore. All right, let me read the headline as it is. All I know is edit sometimes. Couple in the back seat robbed on the foreshore. Again, sensationalization. But anyway, and that's kind of close to home, Mokrapo right there. Not home, literal home, but home. A couple robbed of their car as well. In that situation, a car is kind of a big thing, and it has to pass on our roads, and we have cameras, and let's try to catch those people responsible for that and curb the car theft and stolen car. I don't want to say industry, but is almost like there's a sector that is involved, and it is continual. There are hard-working people who lose a major investment. All right, let's do our best to curb that situation. Grave. Just scrolling through the news. All right, Mr. Marcel is in the news as well. I think there was a PNM press conference yesterday. I tried to find his profile to watch the press conference because a friend told me it was on his Facebook page, or maybe I was mistaken, but I couldn't find him. I know if I blocked. I don't know if Mr. Kareem Marcel has blocked me on social media, but not one red cent of funding. Laventil MP questions if government plans to shut down East Port of Spain. And that would be East Port of Spain Development Company. Opposition member of Parliament Kareem Marcel has questioned whether the government intends to shut down the East Port of Spain Development Company, pointing to the absence of a board of directors, staff terminations, and what he described as a failure to release funds allocated to the company. The Laventil West MP raised the concerns yesterday at a news conference at the office of the Leader of the Opposition, Charles Street, Port of Spain. Marcel said the company, which falls under the Ministry of Housing, has been without a board since the United National Congress administration assumed office in May 2025. If you leave a company leaderless, how do you expect them to effectively execute their duties? How do you expect day-to-day operations to proceed and be funded? Marcel asked the government. All right, so concerns about that special purpose company, which has done significant and positive work within the East Port of Spain catchment area, like other special purpose companies across the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago. Rural Development Company, for example, doing special works in that area. So we hear the concerns that Mr. Marcel is expressing. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Fuad.
Morning.
Sound serious?
Sorry?
Is Kareem Marcel serious?
I don't know. Ask him. I can't even ask him. I think he blocked me.
I'm asking that Fuad because this is the same gentleman that stood on our platform and said to the nation that if he gets a position in cabinet, he is going to operate with malice and bias and a number of different things. Now you asking what's going on and no funding and these kind of things. Maybe some people operating the way how he vowed to operate if he get the chance. These people are really serious, what?
Yeah.
I tell you, Trinidad in a real terrible place if we as citizens don't catch ourselves and tell these two parties where to get off,
Yeah.
I look on.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chris. It is without prejudice and with fairness that we have to govern our society and our country. Even those who do not, on the surface of it, support us, it is our responsibility to do justice and to be fair in the way that we administer and administrate. So we expect that to be the standard. And we as citizens collectively have to advance that is the standard that we want in our society. I'm sure that delivery can be achieved through some of the other agencies. The PNM has a responsibility through the Port of Spain Corporation, which they lead, and I see that they try their best to discharge that duty. In some ways, you have to govern to the best of your ability with fairness. So if the value of this organization is there, then it should be given the support that is necessary for it to continue. And I could say in the past that a lot of positive work has been done by East Port of Spain Development Company. It has added to Trinidad and Tobago. It has added value to those communities that face specific challenges as well. And I would like to see in the future its continuation. For positivity for Trinidad and Tobago, when there's a forward progression, when there is positive advancement in any part of Trinidad and Tobago, it impacts on all of Trinidad and Tobago. And we have to be clear, and I always remind politicians who sometimes straddle these two supposed divides, that collectively the entire population is neglected and has suffered to a certain degree. Do not think that rural Trinidad or South or Central is more deprived or disadvantaged than some of the urban areas. Don't think that, because I will take you on a tour and prove you wrong, as I think Philip Alexander is quickly seeing as he tours these HGC accommodations across the East-West Corridor and other spaces as well. When he sees the level of neglect and deprivation and lack of infrastructure, it is mind-blowing. So, balance yourself as much as possible and extend the very best in governance to all sectors, and you will find that will ease any tension that exists. You will find that the opposition or whoever else politically that wants to challenge, whoever else is interested in grasping power for whatever purposes they grasp power, right? We go through that. We have had discussions about that in the past. You will take away their ability to manipulate the people. You will take away their ability to, as we colloquially say, chain up others against you. When you extend yourself to everyone within the society, fairly. All right, so that concern being raised, and I don't know what else came out of that press conference. I only see that issue being raised in the news and nothing else covered, at least in this newspaper. Maybe I need to check the next newspaper on the Express. Maybe I need to check the Guardian. But Kareem went on, UNC attacking in his thinking East Port of Spain. And I don't know that is the case, but there needs to be fair attention paid to all of Trinidad and Tobago. I continue to congratulate the people of East Port of Spain for their efforts and their decision and their continued commitment to, peace within their communities. Because it is challenging. There are elements that have substantial issues, and they've chosen to go beyond that. And to be honest, in other communities across Trinidad and Tobago, they can draw an example, because we see certain conflicts in a couple areas. And that ease and that coming together has impacted nationally. Even statistically, as one senior officer said when there was one incident a couple weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, said Northwest region, the Port of Spain district in particular, is, phenomenal in terms of the lack of issues of major violent crime, in particular murder, and that's positive, right? So everybody who is making that effort, I really encourage them to continue along those lines, and we can see more. I would like to see more positive engagement from our government as resources become available in those communities as well, so that the young people could be directed into more wholesome, positive directions as well. All right. Blessings to Trinidad and Tobago. We're on top of the hour. Peace, right? Peace, as I see one of the people on TikTok saying, peace and love to everyone. Take care.
TechFlex TT Limited, the #1